Alrighty, what's up, everyone? This is a new episode of Sports Harder. I am your host for this late evening of Sports Harder, Maddie Warm Ice, and co-host for the evening is, as always, the infamous and I guess now officially voted for in quotation marks. Do that now because I'm doing video. Voted for Chris the Gorilla Binder.
That's right. It's voted. I may have swayed the vote a little bit with like my daughter and my wife and my friend.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're definitely gonna go into the comments that everyone had said about that. But are you excited that we're doing some video? You know, people get to see our ugly mugs associated with our lovely voices. You know, we have what is it called, the face for radio is what they say, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't lose listeners over this.
They're gonna watch the video and just be like, what have I been listening to this whole time? What did I do to deserve this? Um, but we got a jam packed episode. I was just wondering if you were going to like shed some tears or something. Like, is there something in your eye? For I don't know, because someone took an L against a giant big L in fantasy football.
Yeah. You beat me by like 6 points.
There's a four in front of mine and a zero, and then I think there's a three and a one for yours. So I mean, I'm good at math. I'm not saying that I'm a professor, but I think 4-0 is better than 3-1. I mean, just putting it out there.
Yeah. I know. You beat me by like 5 or 6 points, and it was all because I decided not to put in DJ Chark instead of McCole Hardman because McCole Hardman hasn't done anything this year, and they brought DJ Chark back, and I was like, oh, I should put him in. No, he's probably not going to do good because Jacksonville's a dumpster fire, and then the dude goes off for like 24 points, and McCole Hardman got me two.
Hey, it was both ways though, because if I would have put CD Lamb in, him getting all those garbage points that the Cowboys somehow always are able to put up, then it would have evened out because he would have gotten me like 27 points. But I had Higby in there because I thought they were gonna crush the Giants, and then the Rams ended up struggling against the Giants instead of crushing them.
Yeah, I
So
didn't even show up for that game. What happened there?
like I said, I think it was one of those things where they maybe took the Giants a little too lightly, and they kind of had to have a little like wake up call because everyone's been praising the Rams and everyone's been on the bandwagon for that because they have the Rams, I think, in the top 10 right now in NFL rankings. I think they're ranked like eighth overall. So, everyone's kind of having high praises for the Rams. So I think they kind of just slept on the Giants in that game, to be honest.
Hmm.
Let's go over some of the voting comments that we had for the name for the nickname. So Melanie the Felony said, 100% stay Chris the Gorilla Binder, rock on Gorilla Binder, and then
And
someone
that's your wife. Let's clear that up. That's your wife.
that
She
is
voted. She voted for Gorilla.
she did to make me mad. She was just like, "Well, I'm gonna do it just to go against the grind." And then someone named Addison. I don't know who that is.
That's my daughter.
She
I'll own that one. That's my daughter.
said that she votes for Gorilla as well. He will forever be known as Gorilla. So that's kind of where the nickname came from. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't make it up. I did steal it from her. So I'll give her the credit. I'll give her where credit is due. I did steal that from her. So So shout out for that. And then someone again, I don't know, named Jeanette Binder. Sure, I don't know who that is. Some rando that voted. So, um, and then let's see. I think uh, we had a couple more people vote on my page as well for it. Let me take a look here. Let's see. I thought they said it on my page. Maybe it was on your page that your friends had brought that up. Let me look at your page.
Yeah, my buddy Willie McLaughlin.
No, if you have it, you can go ahead and read it. But
Yeah, I gotta find it.
I got it. So yeah, Willie, like you said, McLaughlin said, done and done, and thanks. You said thanks, man. So he had already voted, but where did he vote
I
for?
thought he voted on the Sports Harder page.
I didn't see it on there. I mean, maybe he did. Let me check again. I think we had a couple. We posted it a couple different times. Yeah, I don't see it on there. I thought maybe he had commented on your page about it. I didn't know if you had posted it a couple times or not. I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
it's weird. It says there's 4 comments, but you can't see. All you see are the 3.
Hmm.
So when you look at the actual post, it says 4 comments, 3 shares, but there's only the 3 that you can see. So Melanie, Jeanette, and Addison.
Yeah. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. I mean, we know that the votes were in, and I didn't even get a single one for Kiss of Dad, which should be justified because it happened during this week. So the Texans fire their head coach and GM O'Brien. So after going 0-4, we had a couple of comments about that, which was great. Willie McLaughlin, is that how you said it?
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, there you go. He said they should have fired him after he traded Hopkins away. So stupid. And then Christopher Keir said it's sad Houston could be a playoff team. Deshaun is really good, but they have a crappy offensive line and they need some receivers. Now, I know we had a comment Rampage as well that said that the new coach that comes in has an expensive quarterback that he did not pick. So what comments that people have said about O'Brien getting fired since you're the kiss of death and basically got him fired? I blame you for this, to be honest.
It's about that's actually a heaven send for the Texans, just because he got in an argument with J.J. Watt. Like he's just not he wasn't part of the locker room cohesion anymore. So it was time. The dude made a lot of mistakes, but yeah, he's right now. I think they have Romeo Crennel doing the interim coach.
Yeah,
Um, he was their defensive coordinator, I believe,
yeah,
and he's actually like he's okay with it right now. But once they hire an actual head coach, if it's not him, then yeah, that coach is gonna be handed the reins of the dumpster fire that is the Houston Texans. Like they have all the talent in the world, but they don't have the team. You know, each person on the team is like, I mean, they have Brandon Cooks, extremely fast, great hands, injury prone. Then they have Randall Cobb, who's kind of on the downslope of a receiver's career, you know, and then, yeah, the $40 million a year quarterback that they didn't draft. But, I mean, if they coach comes in and they get rid of Deshaun Watson, there's a problem. The dude's a monster. They just need to build the team around him, and they weren't doing Bill O'Brien didn't do that.
yeah. I mean, I don't even remember who they took in the draft. Did they even take a wide receiver in the draft?
I I don't remember the draft.
Good job.
Right?
I was so wasted that I don't remember what was going on.
Let's see.
I mean, I don't think they. Oh, it looks like we got kicked out of our recording. I'm gonna have to send you another one there. It's a good part about this is the good old recording problems.
Oh, fun. Did they really kick us out?
Yeah, that's all right. We still got our video feed here, so. There we go. All right, now we're back on audio for the podcast. So yeah, we were talking about the Texans and this downhill struggle they've been on. That they didn't draft, I don't think, a wide receiver in the draft after getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins.
They did in the 5th round.
Oh, he caught one in the 5th round. Oh man.
Yeah, Isaiah Coulter from Rhode Island.
I don't even know who that is. Like,
right? So they did not have a 1st round pick. In the 2nd round, they took Russ Blacklock, defensive lineman. 3rd round, they took Jonathan Greenard from Florida. 4th round, they had 2 picks. They took Charlie Heck from North Carolina and John Reed from Penn State. And then the 5th round, they got Isaiah Coulter from Rhode Island. Like they had like a B+ grade, but yeah, they haven't done anything.
well, yeah. I mean, you get rid of the best wide receiver in the game. Well, at least one of the top wide receivers in the game. He goes to the Cardinals and he's been turning things around with them. I like like our friends said in the comments. The who was it that had said that? Oh, Willie had said that that they traded Hopkins away and they should have fired him then. Um, I'm not gonna lie, they had a pretty rough schedule. I mean, their first 4 games were against really good teams. I mean, they had the Chiefs, they had the Ravens, I think. The one they should have won really was the Vikings, to be honest. I mean, they should have beaten the Vikings.
That's my fault.
Yes. Thank you for finally admitting that.
That one's on me.
So yeah, I mean that's and then like Matt Klein said, saying it's kicked us out again for the recording. So that is fun. I like when it does that. So let's try this again.
It's terrible.
Terrible. What's his bucket? Charles Barkley. Terrible.
Terrible. Oh, it's terrible.
Let's see here. All right, we're gonna try it again. Round 3. But hopefully maybe we actually use the website instead of using our phones. We'll try that next week and see how that goes. But so we were talking about. Oh shoot, what were we talking about? Oh, about
Bill O'Brien being fired after he traded off DeAndre Hopkins.
So I mean, yeah, they had a rough start, and the record, kind of showed that, but they should have been able to beat the Vikings. But I guess let's did we have anything else that we had posted on the site? Because I was really just going over what we had posted on Facebook. Was there anything else that we had posted that was of importance to read? I don't think there was. No, that was it. That's kind of the major news that's been happening, that's been going on. So, a lot of people are saying that the new coach to replace O'Brien could possibly be the offensive coordinator from the Chiefs. Um, as well in coaching, Patrick Mahomes, basically be like, hey, you know, Deshaun Watson, him to be a Patrick, so why not give him, a coach that's been working with him and doing that? That's really, you know, on that one.
Completely lost your audio on the Skype there. Heard you on the podcast though.
Yeah, that was like some wicked feedback that was going on right there. But yeah, what was? Oh, so basically, we can go into the NFL games, kind of how we felt about what happened with that this past Sunday. Was there a game that like stood out to you that you wanted to talk about other than the Raiders game?
No, like I don't know. The games were weird this weekend. Like weird teams winning. Like I don't know. It was just it's weird. Like teams didn't show up. Like the Rams didn't show up, and then like what was it? The Vikings actually finally showed up, and they kind of destroyed the Texans, and they haven't looked that good all year. So it's like, where did that come from? And then the Seahawks barely snuck by. Like,
That's very true. Well, let's talk about last night's game then, the Thursday night football game. Since that was the most recent. So I didn't watch the whole game. I watched the first half, and Tampa looked really good. It looked like they were in control most of the game. Um, the two quick scores that the Bears had right before halftime, really wasn't Tom Brady's fault. The one was a fumble that they were able to get. But towards the end of the game in the fourth quarter, they're down by 1 point. They just need a field goal to win. And Tom Brady goes for like a long throw. He had someone wide open for the first down. They needed 6 yards to get a first down, but he throws it deep and goes incomplete. Thinking it was third down, he turns and looks and goes like this, thinking, oh, now it's fourth down after that incomplete pass. And it's like, sorry, that was fourth down. What you just did. Um, so is that like a senior moment? Tom Brady, his whole team is not aware that it was fourth down.
his dementia kicked in. No, there was actually a play like kind of it was the drive before that I died laughing because he was getting mad on the sideline. He was screaming at the team. Like it actually showed him like yelling at the team. He slams his helmet down. They go out back on the field, and seriously, the next play, neither one of the tackles blocked. He got sacked. Like they just you watch them and they just kind of touch the guy and the guy goes around him and they just kind of stopped and watched. that was funny to watch, but no, that game like that showed me that Tom Brady had a problem with the NFC East quarterbacks. Like I know Foles isn't in the NFC East anymore, but he couldn't beat Foles when he was with the Eagles. He couldn't beat Eli Manning.
Yeah, and he couldn't be told on a different thing, So and the Bears sneak out a win at 20-19 by 1 point. Um, Again, I mean, the Bears are they have a decent record because that puts them at what 4-1? Yeah, 4-1.
4-1.
I mean, we were saying that the Bears were kind of pretenders, or they just do they have a lucky rabbit's foot up their butt? That they just haven't pulled out yet. That they or is it? I don't know. I mean, the Buccaneers had like loads of penalties that killed them and set them back as well. Um, I mean, does this show more towards the Bucks just not being together, or the Bears are showing a little bit more promise now?
So I think the Bears are starting to show a little more unity that they shouldn't. Like it's kind of surprising that they are. But one of the things that popped up that kind of surprised me. This is Nick Foles' third game, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So he played half the game, and then he played last week, and then he played the Thursday game. So yeah, it's his third game. 2.5 games essentially. So before he was brought in, Allen Robinson asked for a trade. He said, I don't want to play here anymore. I'm done. I want out. They brought Nick Foles in. Since Nick Foles has come in, he's caught 14 passes for almost 600 yards.
Oh my god.
So he's tearing it up. Like since Foles actually took over the quarterback. I think I'm wrong. I think it's like 500 yards, but still, like he's showing that still a good receiver.
Yeah, and he's looking for a big contract too, with the Bears, especially if he stays with them, or maybe he goes to another team like he wants, still to do. But we'll see how their playoffs, you know, pan out when it comes to that. Now, one of the other games that stood out to me, I think, was the we got to bring it up, especially since you had picked the Browns to win the division. The Browns absolutely stomped. I mean, stomped like mud hole. Like, stop! He's dead already. Like, was like annihilating the Cowboys, and then somehow the Cowboys always make that last minute comeback, and then the Browns were just like, "Nah, we're just gonna do an end around with Odell Beckham and stomp that." We're still gonna win this game. The Cowboys have put up more yards, total yards, in their NFL like history since they've been a team. Like, I think they're already over 2,000 yards in total yardage for their offense, and all the other years when they were at like 1,400 yards, they all started 4-0. Those Dallas teams, and those were the teams that went to the Super Bowl. But yet this team is now 1-3. So, like, what? How can you have that many yards, and you can have the most yards for a team in their history, but still lose all of these games? Like, explain this to me, how this works.
As a Raiders fan, it's very simple to explain. They're not finishing. That's the thing. Like Derek Carr last year had 4,000 passing yards, but it went under the radar because they went 7-9. That they were garbage. Dak Prescott is throwing lights out. He is throwing all over the field, but they're not finishing drives. Then their defense is not holding people back. Like Dak Prescott can go out there and throw for 700 yards in a game with 8 touchdowns. They're still going to lose because their defense isn't doing anything to stop people. Like the reason they came back in the Browns game, like I actually watched that game. The Browns laid off. Like they got to 40 points and they're like, all right, we're just going to relax. And they just kind of ran the ball. They were nonchalant about it. The defense went into like a prevent defense, and then the Cowboys came back, and the Browns were like, okay, nope, we're not going to let this happen. We've seen it happen with Atlanta. Let's step back on that gas pedal. We don't need to coast in the HOV lane anymore. We need to tear it up in the fast lane.
I mean, it just baffles me with their division. I mean, like, look at the NFC. Philadelphia is in first at 1-2-1.
And they just won their first game.
Yeah, and they're in first place. They just won in their first place. I don't get it. Like, and the The Washington football team is in second at 1-3. They're tied with Dallas at 1-3, and then the Giants are 0-4.
The worst division in football. Absolutely the worst division. Dumpster fire.
Yeah, I can't imagine. One of those teams is going to make the playoffs, though. That's the bad part, and it's probably going to be a losing record as well.
I told you the Eagles are going to make it with a 7-9 record. It's going to be the Eagles 7-9.
7-9-1 with that. Tie.
Yeah, now it has to be 7-8-1. But
there you go. Exactly. So I guess what we need to bring up, of course, and I don't want to scare you with like how much I'm flexing right now, but someone had a perfect week of NFL picks. Perfect, like meaning 0 wrong. 0.
Yeah, why didn't you make a bet at Vegas, man? Or you're right by Atlantic City, like go to Atlantic City and make that bet. Just do a parlay. I'm gonna pick every team. You would have won like thousands of dollars, dude.
I would have won so much freaking money. And I've been doing this podcast for like 3 years now. Not once have I ever had every single pick right. And I have to say, I mean, you only got 2 wrong, and that's not shabby at all. Like that's really good. But I mean, two losses, 0 is better, so
Yeah, it hurts my record.
weird. It was weird because I won in fantasy, but then I also won with our NFL picks.
Yeah, but we're both down on Thursday because neither one of us picked the Bears.
That's true. I should have listened to you because you told me I had to go against you since you picked the Bucks. I should have listened.
Right? You would have been absolutely perfect.
It would have been, a maxed out perfection. So right now I am 53 and a half and 15. You are 51 and a half and 18.
Ouch.
So,
Ouch.
we're still over 500. So I mean, I think that's pretty good, to be over 500. So I like our odds of how well we've been doing so far. So I think if you're ready, we should probably do the NFL picks, right?
I'm down.
NFL picks of the week. Picks of the week. Picks. Picks of the week. I need like flames like behind me, stuff like that. Like like I don't know, like a devil head like coming out like picks of the week.
I'm just sitting here laughing at you because you went blurry as hell for a minute.
I mean, yeah, and I do want with us trying to do video recordings now. I do want us to try to do some type of like game or something where we can like hold up cards, even if it's like picks, we hold up the team that we were picking or something, or our locks are upset, we can hold up a lock card, and just be like, oh, this is my lock for the week. I just think it would be fun to do something like that,
Down. Just got to get the cards.
Oh, that would be easy. That would be easy to do. So all right, well, let's start off with the first game, which is the LA Rams at 3-1 against the Washington football team of 1-3. Now the Rams are looking to beat every single team in the NFC East. If they are able to beat the Washington football team, we will have beaten every single team in that division. So we're looking for the sweep. Do you want me to start or for you to start?
Since it's your team, I'll start.
Makes perfect sense. I like it.
Now, this one's hard because the Rams kind of didn't show up. And then the Washington football team, I keep wanting to call them the Redskins, but the Washington football team didn't. They decided to bench Dwayne Haskins
Yeah.
after like 350 yards passing. Like, yeah, he didn't have a touchdown. Yeah, they lost the game, but he didn't throw a pick. He actually had a decent game. Just the defense sucked. He was marching up and down the field, and they're bringing in what is it? It's Kyle something. The dude that was the Panthers quarterback. He was Cam Newton's backup.
Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle Allen. And then Alex Smith is his backup. So they relegated Dwayne Haskins to third string
Yep.
after having a fairly decent game. They just like, you're done, get out. Like, so I mean, it could be the spark that they need to start winning. But are they going to beat the Rams? That's a tough one, dude. That's a really tough one. But I'm going to have to lock the Rams.
Oh my goodness. No. Hopefully, with this lock, you're not giving them the kiss of death like you usually do.
Hey, I got my lock right last week.
You did. That's true. I think you got your lock and your upset. I think you got both right. So.
Yep.
And we all know I got both of mine because I didn't get any wrong. So
Yeah, sorry about that lock there, Brian.
Oh gosh. Well, we'll see. The for me, I was happy at how the defense played because the defense, showed up to say, hey, if the offense is having an off day, we can hold our own. And it was the Giants, don't get me wrong, but the defense made a push and a comeback against the Bills as well. I think our defense is kind of underrated. People aren't really talking as much. We're the youngest team in the NFL. So, everyone's like all these rookies and all these like second year players, how well are they going to do? You've already taken a lot. I don't want to lock the Rams because I feel like I'm going to jinx them. But I'm definitely going to go with the Rams. I think they're NFC going to happen pretty easily. So I'm definitely going with my Rams on this one.
So I do have a question about the Rams, though.
Yeah.
Did Jalen Ramsey get suspended?
I have not seen anything where he has. I haven't gotten any notifications about that. So as far as I know, he's still good to go.
Okay, because I know it was kind of up in the air whether him and Golden Tate were going to get suspended after that fight.
Yeah, the fight that broke out afterwards. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were commenting, a lot of Rams fans, on Facebook and saying, this is what happens when you pay someone who's loud mouthed in your face, because they paid him that big contract. But I mean, sometimes at that position, you got to have the swagger to back up how you're playing, So,
Well, you know the whole reason for the fight, right?
they had their quarrels in the past when he was with Jacksonville, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so what it was Jalen Ramsey was actually dating Golden Tate's sister. And Misha, and he got her pregnant and then bounced and started dating some exotic dancer.
Oh no.
So Golden Tate, like on social media, was like, he's gonna have to see me sometime. And then that whole thing happened where he tackled Golden Tate, like he took him down hard. Like that looked like WrestleMania rock bottom shit going on. Like that was brutal. But that was kind of like where the feud came from.
I did hear about that. Someone like tweeted about that or something like that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I did not know that. That's drama outside, bringing it onto the field. When it comes to that. So yeah, cool. So we both have the Rams on that one. The next matchup is the 2-2 Panthers versus the scintillating 0-4 Falcons. I don't know how the Falcons head coach has kept his job either, to be honest. I know O'Brien got fired after an 0-4 start. I feel like the Falcons coach is on thin ice as well. I mean, if they go 0-5, I don't know how they keep him around. I almost feel like they're just, since they're at 0-4, they might as well just be like, all right, let's scrap the season and go after Trevor Lawrence in the draft. Matty Ice is getting old. Not me, Matty Ice, but that Matty Ice. But so
Well, I mean,
and
you're getting old too, so.
I this is true, unfortunately. Um, uh, the Panthers looked really good without McCaffrey. Teddy Bridgewater, I think he scored his first rushing touchdown since his leg surgery, which was really cool that he was able to do that. So since I get to go first, I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think the Falcons are a dumpster fire. They're just going to keep it going for most of the year, to be honest, until they play someone maybe like the Jets or something, and then maybe they can get a win.
I struggle with this one because the Panthers have started to look up. They're doing really good, and Atlanta's been choke city all year. Like I want to go with Atlanta because on paper they're the stronger team, they're the better team,
Yeah.
but they haven't shown it at all this year. Like they're just not there. I struggle with this one. I I'm gonna go with Atlanta though, getting their first win.
Oh wow. Wow.
I think
Uh,
it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a really close game. But I think Atlanta's finally not gonna choke, and I think Julio Jones has a big game because there's been a lot of talks of trading him, and he doesn't want to be traded. He wants to play for Atlanta till he retires.
fair enough. That would be interesting. They could get a lot for him, I'm sure, with trading. They could probably get a lot of top picks, a lot of first round picks for that, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, so all right. I mean, we'll see if they can get there. If they do, I think that kind of saves the head coaching's job for sure. From 0-5, I would almost think they would probably get rid of them. But the next matchup is the 2-2 Raiders versus the 4-0 Chiefs. So division rivalry game here. To start us off with the Warriors and what's going on with them, because they started off hot, but now two game losing streak against the Bills and the Patriots, if I'm correct. Uh, so do they bounce back against the defending world champs?
So they're playing in Kansas City, and I looked up some stats on Derek Carr in Kansas City. He has never won in Arrowhead Stadium.
Oh gosh.
He has a completion percentage. He's known for having like about a 70% completion percentage. In Arrowhead Stadium, he has in his 6 visits there. He's had 6 games in Arrowhead Stadium. He's got a 56% completion. He has 1,100 total yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions.
Oh my god. Woo.
And I'm rocking the Carr jersey right now. I think this is where he gets over the hump, and it's going to be my upset pick.
Oh no. 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 Terrible. Terrible. Boo! No, I'm kidding. I mean that. Uh,
I
I
think he
mean,
finally gets over his hump there. I think he finally wins a damn game in Arrowhead.
well, all right. I mean, it'll be interesting. The Chiefs kind of, were struggling against the Patriots at first, but then they kind of put their foot down, especially with no Cam Newton. I know a lot of Patriot fans are going to be like, well, we didn't lose that game because Cam Newton wasn't playing because he tested positive for COVID. So I know a lot of Patriot fans are, chalking it up to that basically. But I can't go against the Chiefs and what they've been doing. I think they're going to continue riding this streak. Um, we'll have to see. I mean, there's not too many the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to go undefeated, but I mean, there's not too many teams I would go against the Chiefs with. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. The next one is the 2-2 Cardinals versus the 0-4 Jets. So Cardinals started off, on a hot start, kind of like the Raiders. They were 2-0. Now they've lost back-to-back games against not too that great of teams. I mean, one was the Lions, and then last week they lost against the Panthers. I mean, the Panthers, I think, are a little bit better than the Lions, but they did lose to two teams that they should have beaten the way that they've been playing, and they couldn't get it done. I think it's my pick to start off first for this one. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on this one because, like I said, I don't think the Jets are gonna win a single game this year. So they're a dumpster fire on top of a dumpster fire on top of crap. So you can't get any worse than the Jets. And I was watching the pregame for the games, the early games on Sunday last week, and they actually did a special for the Jets where it was medicine called like forget me something. And basically, it was a Jets fan who wanted to forget the season, and the remedy was taking a hammer and hitting your head until you forgot that wasn't over yet. So if Fox pregame is making fun of your team, then that says something.
Wow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with you on that one because I think the Jets. So they're not good enough to even be called a dumpster fire. It reminds me of like the Simpsons, like that tire fire that they've got, like the
Yeah.
like the Springfield dump that's always on fire. That's the Jets. They're terrible, absolutely terrible. They looked good at the beginning of the last game that they played. Like Sam Darnold looked good, and then he got hit, and it was like, okay, game's over. Like he went back to the locker room, but then he comes back out, he plays, but he wasn't the same person. Like he just flat out was not the same player.
Yeah.
Jets fell apart. They were garbage. I think Cardinals actually bounce back and take this one.
Ah, smart, smart. Um, let's see. The next matchup is the first place on 2-1 Eagles versus the 3-0 Steelers. Uh, crazy thing. I think you get to start off with this one.
This is terrible. Because of the Steelers, we said they were pretenders, but then they get matched up against the Eagles, who are just that's who I picked to win the division, and they still might do it, but with a losing record. I don't think they can beat the Steelers though, so I have to go with the Steelers.
Yeah, I think the Steelers defense is pretty stout. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers as well. The Eagles are still struggling to figure out who to throw the ball to. So
And a note on that, really quick. Sorry,
yeah,
the Steelers got 2 weeks to prepare because they didn't play this last week.
that's true. Yeah, because their game I think it's made up on the 15th. I think it's the 15th is when they're making it up. Um, so yeah, that's true. They got that extra rest and extra preparation. Um, so the next matchup is the 1-2-1 Bengals versus the 3-1 Ravens. Um, I think I get to go first for this one. So I'm gonna go staying on that bandwagon as long as possible. I'm gonna go with the Ravens, and I'm gonna go with a lock. I'm gonna lock it in. Lock up that, lock up the Ravens. They're gonna stomp the Bengals. That defense is too good. So sorry, Joe Burrow, but welcome to the NFL. and you're going to get sacked like 5 times.
So their defense is good, but Lamar Jackson's questionable to play the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got an ankle injury, so he's questionable. I'm gonna go against you, and I'm gonna say the Bengals win this game.
No, what are you doing? Oh my goodness!
I'm picking underdogs, man. They've been it's been crazy this year. Like the teams you expect to just blow people out are barely winning or actually losing, and it's like, wait, what? So yeah, I think Joe Burrow's finally getting his legs under him, and this is going to be a true test for him. But I think AJ Green's pissed off because he's not being looked at as a top receiver, even though he kind of is. He's kind of in the shadow of everybody else just because he plays for the Bengals and they're a garbage team. They have been for a long time. Like I mean, the last good quarterback they had was Carson Palmer, and I mean Andy Dalton took him to the playoffs, never won a game. Carson Palmer took him to the playoffs, never won a playoff game. Like they haven't won a playoff game in forever. So it's like I think Burrow. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year, but I think Burrow is going to finally get his feet under him and get a good feel of who he's playing, and he's going to make some smart decisions against that Ravens defense. They're still going to get probably 5 sacks on him and probably 2 interceptions, but I think they're still going to. I think they're going to fight out that win.
All right, fair enough. The next matchup is the 1-3 Jaguars versus the 0-4 Texans.
I have to go first on this one?
Yeah.
Dude, I've been picking the Texans all year.
Do it again, man. They'll go 0-5. Do it.
This is horse crap. Ah, no, because Jacksonville's terrible. They lost to the Dolphins. Like, they got beat down by the Dolphins. Ah. Screw it, Texans.
God. Why?
Don't let me down again, guys. Don't let me down.
What have they done to you?
I don't know. I want them to win. I'm actually rooting for them to win.
Did they break your heart as a kid or something? Like, I don't understand why they deserve this.
Yeah, when the Oilers moved over to Tennessee.
Like, oh my goodness. Going with the Texans, man.
You are too. Yeah.
Probably. Like you said, the Jaguars are just terrible, but the Texans have been so bad as well. Who knows? Maybe the firing of O'Brien is what they needed to kind of hit a reset button, refresh everyone. Like you said, he got in a fight with J.J. Watt. I mean, he's like the face of the franchise. He's the leader of the team, and he's getting in an argument with him. So maybe that's what they needed, just to mix things up and give them a recharge. So yeah, I'll go with the Texans. Why not?
All right. I don't feel so bad.
Let's make this let's break this curse. The curse must be broken. It's got to be lifted.
Right.
The next matchup is the 1-3 Dolphins versus the 2-2 49ers. I get to go first on this one. I'm actually gonna go with the Dolphins, and I'm gonna pick that as my upset. I think with the Niners having a better record, that this would be an upset. The Dolphins, been looking pretty good, and they benched Mullins in the game before the last game that the 49ers played in. They benched him because he had thrown like 3 interceptions, and I don't even know the name of the guy that they put in. Like, I have no idea who that was. I can't even remember. And I'm trying to see for the Niners if Jimmy G is still out. It doesn't say, so maybe Jimmy G's back. Looks like he might be playing. So I don't see an injury report on him. Um, so, yeah, right there, Shanahan announces Garoppolo will start. So,
Yes, he is starting on Sunday.
I mean, I think even with that, I mean, I don't think the 49ers are the same team, especially their defense with all the injuries. I'm still going to stick with the Dolphins in an upset.
Okay. I'm going to go with the 49ers. Kittle's back. Mostert's back. Garoppolo's back. They don't have a defensive line, but Jimmy G's a little smarter with the ball than Nick Mullins was. He's a little more cautious of turnovers and stuff. Like, there was a reason Bill Belichick selected him, and it was the highest quarterback Bill Belichick's ever taken in the draft. Like, he's not a great quarterback by any means, but he's smart. He's smart with the ball. And having Kittle back, I mean, Kittle freaking went off last week. He had like 2 touchdowns, 170 yards, 10 receptions. Dude was a monster last week, and he's going to do the same thing this week. And then they dropped Mohamed Sanu as well, so they don't have that locker room cancer. You know, Brandon Ayuk was a little pissed off that they dropped him because he kind of looked up to him. But Brandon Ayuk, that dude balls. I don't know. Did you watch the game last week when
No.
he straight hurdled a dude. Like, I mean, he jumped 6 feet in the air, hurdling a guy. Like, dude didn't even touch him, and he went right between Brandon Ayuk's legs. Like, and Brandon Ayuk's not a huge receiver. I think he's like 6'1", 6'2", maybe. You know, I mean, he's got hops. He can play. You know, Deebo Samuel hasn't really done much this year, but he's got some speed on him. I think that they're gonna do. I think they're gonna finally start coming into their own. I don't think they're gonna be the Super Bowl team they were last year, but the Dolphins have only beat the Jaguars. They've been in their other games, but they've only beat the Jaguars. So I don't think they have enough to beat the 49ers.
Fair.
All right, I like it.
Well,
The next matchup, which should be a good game, we'll see. It's
the 3-1 Browns. So two winning teams, both of them competing to kind of get at the top of their division. You get to start off with this matchup. This one's gonna be hard.
Excuse me, Browns. I'm going with the Browns, dude. They look so good. Odell Beckham's finally like, all right, I'm here. Let's do this. You know, Jarvis Landry and him are starting to team up. Jarvis Landry threw him a 35-yard touchdown. Like, they're doing everything they can to win games. And, like, it's not all on Baker Mayfield's shoulders. It's their defense is stepping up. Myles Garrett's, like, the top-rated on Pro Football Focus. He's the top-rated defensive end in the game, like, in the entire NFL right now. Like, they've got, what's the stupid cornerback's name? Cornerback safety. I can't remember his name.
I don't know.
Oh, man. Brain farting. But no, anyway, they have a defense that's stepping up. Like, they have Carl Joseph stepping up. They have another guy. I can't remember his name, and it's bugging me. But yeah, I mean, the Browns are all over this. They're going to tear apart the Colts. Phillip Rivers is old and just needs to retire.
Oh dang! Calling out the old part for the Colts as well. Well, I got to go against you on this one. I'm going to pick the Colts just because I do like Rivers, and the Colts defense is one of the top defenses in the NFL right now. I know they were talking about it on Thursday Night Football, so having that defense and with Rivers now getting his stride and everything with being on a new team. I just, like I said before, I think the Browns are pretenders. They're not really matching up against anyone that good, and this will be their first real test. So if they do get by the Colts, I will start giving them more credit. But I think the Colts will still be able to edge them out on that one.
Okay, so really quick, here's their secondary. So it's Denzel Ward. Okay, so they have Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Carl Joseph, and Andrew Sendejo. Like that's their secondary. Like they have a beast of a secondary. Granted, they gave up 500 yards to Dak Prescott, but they don't allow points. They don't allow a lot of touchdowns. They don't allow people to get past them. They allow the short under routes. They're solid defense. Yeah, the Colts are a great defense, but they don't have anybody that can stop Odell. Once Odell gets going, dude, like nobody can stop that guy.
That is true. I think if the Colts can slow down the run game, I think the run game has been opening up a lot of things for the Browns. With having Kareem Hunt tearing it up because Nick Chubb went down in that Dallas game, and Kareem Hunt came in and was like, "Hey, remember when I was on that high flying offense with the Chiefs? Yeah, like that's me." And he was reminding people of who he was. So I think if the Colts can slow down the run game, then they're gonna have a good chance. Um, the next matchup is the 0-4 Giants versus the 1-3 Cowboys. So scintillating matchup here of some two great teams.
And it's my pick.
No,
Yeah.
you went with the Browns first.
Oh, okay, good. Then I'll have to pick this one first.
Man, I mean, it's kind of hard now because the Giants, showed some promise with their defense against the Rams, and the Cowboys' defense is just garbage. But the Giants don't really have anyone to throw to, and their offensive line I think allowed 7 sacks against the Rams. Like the Rams, I think had 7 sacks on Daniel Jones. Like that's insane in one game. The Cowboys don't really have anyone that can get after the quarterback like the Rams did. I mean, you got Aaron Donald there, so um, I don't know. I'm still gonna go with the Cowboys. I think on this one just because they've been putting up all these points, but like you said, they can't finish games because their defense is so bad. But I think Daniel Jones doesn't have anyone to throw to or anyone to. He doesn't even have a good running back. So I think the Cowboys will get another W under their belt.
So the Giants' replacement for Odell Beckham Jr., arguably top 5 receiver in the NFL, maybe top 10. Their replacement for him was Golden Tate. Like the Seahawks reject. And the Seahawks don't have a good receiving core, and they didn't when Golden Tate was there.
Yeah.
They didn't. Yeah, no, the Giants, like Daniel Jones he's not the reincarnated Eli Manning. He's nowhere near as good, and Eli Manning wasn't that great of a quarterback. Eli Manning just had a really good team around him. Daniel Jones doesn't. So yeah, this hurts me to say this, but I'm actually going with the Cowboys. Like,
After you were just poo-pooing on them before.
yeah, I don't like the Cowboys, man. I don't like them.
But I'm against the Giants, so
Yeah.
All right, so the next matchup is the 1-3 Vikings versus the 4-0 Seahawks. So you get to start off with this one.
The Seahawks have struggled to actually dominate games. Like they're winning games, but they haven't really dominated anybody. But the Vikings are garbage. Like the only team they beat was the only reason they have a win is because it was either them or the Texans actually get a win, their first win. Kirk Cousins, he's not worth the money he's being paid. Dalvin Cook he's a monster. He is definitely a monster when he's on his game. Adam Thielen is money. but the Seahawks are just they're dominant, but they're not destroying teams. They just know when to close and how to close games.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson is probably the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
Ooh.
As much as I hate him, I hate the Seahawks. I grew up in Seattle. I hate the Seahawks. But Russell Wilson he's probably front runner for MVP right now. As much as I hate to say that. But so I think the Seahawks actually take this game.
Well, I'm going to agree with you on one point, which is picking the Seahawks to win. The thing that I will disagree with is Russell Wilson being the lead candidate for MVP. I think he's in the running, but I think Aaron Rodgers right now is the leading candidate for MVP because, like you said, the Seahawks aren't dominating teams. They're just closing out. Aaron Rodgers is dominating teams. Like he is like I said at the beginning, like pounding them a mud hole in them so hard that someone in the background is yelling, "Stop! He's already dead!" So he's been lighting them up. But I will agree, Seahawks will take this game and unfortunately go 5-0. They're in the same division as the Rams. I hate to say it, but yeah, they'll be 5-0 after that game. So we have two Monday night games. That was the Sunday night game, is the Vikings and the Seahawks. So we have two Monday night games. The first Monday night game is the 1-3 Broncos versus the 2-2 Patriots.
And the Patriots are without Stephon Gilmore or Cam Newton, right?
Yeah, I think they're both still out as far as I'm aware. And they got Julian Edelman listed as questionable as well. So that's a lot of big names.
And it's my pick? No, it's your pick.
Yeah, my pick. The Broncos are just so terrible though, and I don't even think they have their quarterback back yet. I don't think either Drew Lock. I don't think he's back yet. He's listed as questionable. Kind of just two injured teams going at it, to be honest. I mean, but it's Bill Belichick and it is that defense. Like I said, they were holding their own against the Chiefs until the quarterback situation just started, So, oh my goodness, I think I'll go with the Patriots anyways, just because I don't think the Broncos have enough to be able to do anything either offensively or defensively. So I'll go with the Patriots.
So I told you one thing at the beginning of the season, that I will never, ever pick the Broncos. I don't care. I'll take the L. And I'm sticking to it. Patriots.
Well, there you go. I shouldn't even ask you who you're picking whenever it's a Bronco matchup. I should already just know. So the other Monday night game, the late one, is the 1-3 Chargers versus the 2-2 Saints. So yeah, you get to pick first in this one.
Can I just say Justin Herbert has been a complete surprise. Like, that dude has been tearing it up, and his record doesn't show it. Like, this Chiefs barely snuck by him.
Yeah.
He threw his first interception last week. Like, the dude he's good. He's a lot better than I expected from an Oregon quarterback. Like, he didn't look that great in college, so I was like, oh, he's not going to do that good in the pros. But he is poised. He looks like a 2-year veteran. Like, he looks like he's actually comfortable. And it's weird with the Chargers because they're not that good.
Yeah.
Like, their offensive line is not that good. So makes it difficult because I'm actually going to go for the Chargers on this one. And they're in my division. I hate rooting for my division.
Hey, you and me both. I hate, like I said, I hate that I had to pick the Seahawks. Well, I'm gonna go against you on this one and go with the Saints. You know, Alvin Kamara has been tearing it up for the Saints. Um, I'm not sure if the Saints get Michael Thomas back yet or not. Let me
Nope,
see.
he's still out.
He's listed as questionable now. So, um, but yeah, I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna go with the Saints on this one. I feel like they'll be able to do a good job. Um, yeah, because right now, yeah, like you said with Justin Herbert, like he had a good week last week against Tampa. They were beating the Bucks there for quite a while, and then the Chargers defense kind of let them down. I mean, Chargers offense scored 31 points. Herbert went 20 for 25, 290 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick, like you were saying. But I mean, they only lost by a touchdown. So, like you say, he's been playing a lot better than I think people expected him to play. Um, I would say probably him and Joe Burrow are up for Rookie of the Year right now. I would say probably they're probably like the leading guys for that.
Yeah, the guy I picked for Rookie of the Year is out for the season.
Because you're the kiss of death. So
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then now there's a Tuesday game because of all the COVID stuff. So the 4-0 Bills will go against the 3-0 Titans on Tuesday night.
That game may not happen.
Oh, it may not happen, huh?
Yeah, it's they've scheduled it for Tuesday, but the Titans are actually in some hot water because they were told that they're not to have any like team activities, no groupings or anything like that. And then I think it was like between 25 and 30 of their players were caught doing a workout at a high school. And so the NFL is deciding kind of what the punishment should be, and they're talking about forfeiting the Steelers game and forfeiting the Bills game.
Oh, God.
So they haven't laid down the punishment yet. They probably will, like either today or tomorrow. So yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough. I mean, that would be crazy if they went 3-2 without even like playing a game. They'd have to forfeit and automatically go to 3-2. Especially in a tight division that they play in, every win kind of matters for them right now.
Yeah,
But I think you still have to pick first on that one, or is it me?
it's me. No, yeah, I picked the Chargers, so I'll
Okay.
lean on you.
Um, I'll go with the Bills on this one just because they've been looking pretty dominant. They've been doing really well. You know, they, Josh Allen is kind of a dark horse when it comes to MVP as well for how he's been playing, and everyone keeps on talking about the turnaround that he's made. I think he made some big mistakes against the Rams, and that's why they came back. He fumbled the ball a lot, and the Rams were able to come back because of that. Um, but he's been getting better and better each game, I feel like. So if they do play the game, I'm going to go with the Bills.
Okay, that's actually something that's kind of funny. Josh Allen is now in talks for MVP. Like people are actually including him in the talks for MVP.
Yeah.
He's definitely not a front runner yet, but they're including him in the talks, which is kind of crazy that a Bills quarterback would finally be in the talks. They haven't had one since Jim Kelly. Like,
Jim Kelly was the last one, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bills. They look solid against the Raiders. The Titans have way too many people that have COVID, so they're playing a lot of their. If they do play, they're going to play a lot of their backups because a lot of their starters are going to be out due to COVID and not allowed to play. Um, yeah, it's going to be the Bills.
All right, fair enough. Well, that leads us then to our last pick, which would be the Thursday night football game, which potentially, depending again on the records and like who wins this weekend and stuff like that. But wait, yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how they would play this game because right now it's saying it's the 4-0 Chiefs versus the 4-0 Bills. But it says because the Bills playing on Tuesday, there's no way that they would play on Thursday.
They'd still play. They're still playing on Thursday. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a very very short week.
uh, well, it says at least in the ESPN app, it says will move to later in weekend if Buffalo and Tennessee play. So if they play, then it's going to be moved to the weekend.
Yeah, then we might not have a Thursday night game.
So it might it might not happen on Thursday. So, um, but so but we'll still go ahead and pick for that one in case they do play on Thursday. So it's your turn this time for Chiefs and Bills.
So it will be the 4-1 Chiefs and the 5-0 Bills.
Ha!
But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs on this one.
Oh, then now you pick the Chiefs. All right, see how it is. Basically two AFC juggernauts kind of going at it. Bills, uh, you know, trying to cement their place in their division and become the new Patriots, basically, since Tom Brady left. Um, but yeah, again, like I said, there's not too many games I'm gonna pick against the Chiefs, and this is another one I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. I think they'll be able to pull it out. I think they'll make Josh Allen finally feel nervous. Kind of like the Rams did, and make him make more mistakes. So um, potentially, this could be something to help Josh Allen become more of an MVP candidate if he shows up and he actually beats the defending Super Bowl champs. I think that will help his case in becoming um, a lead runner for MVP. So
Yeah.
those are our picks of the week. We'll see how they go. I'm going for another perfect week. Make it 2 weeks in a row. Widen my lead even more against you.
I think this week we actually picked more against each other than we have like all season.
Yeah, we did kind of go against each other more often this time. I did notice that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works for us. Um, so to wrap things up with some of the other sports that are going on right now. So tonight, NBA Finals, Lakers Heat. The Lakers have a chance to win the NBA Finals and end the series tonight. Right now, it's in the first quarter. Lakers are up 18-13 against the Heat. Um, like I said, the Lakers are up 3-1 in the series. The Heat trying to, make an amazing comeback. I think who was it? The LeBron with the Cavs, I think was like the last time someone came back from 3-1 to win the finals because he did that against Golden State. Um, so with this game tonight, do you think the Lakers finish it off?
No, I think the Heat win tonight, and then the Lakers actually. I took the Heat in the finals, but I still think the Lakers are actually going to win it, even though I did pick the Heat. I'm going to be wrong on my pick, but the Lakers are going to win it in 6.
Oh, they're gonna win in 6. All right. Um, I think it's just rough because there's so many injuries for the Heat players. I feel bad. It was kind of like when the Raptors beat Golden State in the finals. The Raptors got lucky because Golden State had like 4 people injured. You
Yeah,
know, and so it was one of those things where it's like I feel like yes, the Raptors were good and Kawhi was that good, but they got lucky they were going against a very injured Golden State team. I almost feel like the Lakers are lucky because they're going up against an injured Miami team. I picked the Lakers to win it either way, so I think they might go ahead and just finish it off tonight. I know that the ratings have been plummeting for the NBA. There's like no one watching the finals right now. Um, I know a lot of people are saying it's because of how woke the NBA has been with, um, Black Lives Matters and all the presidential voting and different things like that. That it's turning people away. They don't want to watch it. It's kind of the whole stigma of just shut up and play type of thing. Um, do you think that the NBA can get back on track? Because the NBA used to be one of the most popular things to watch because the players could express themselves on the court. You don't get penalties for flexing or, showing off or doing whatever. And the commissioner of the NBA would allow the players to speak out and do, certain things. Do you think the NBA kind of gave the players too much leeway that now it's turning people away?
No, I think the NBA's always had the leeway and have always been outspoken for a lot of things like that. I think what's kind of shed some light on it and kind of turned people away from it, honestly, is the NFL. So the NFL started shining light on it, and it became more of a national spotlight than the NBA, because the NBA they've been voicing against racial brutality, racial segregation, and everything for a very long time. It's been a lot longer than the NFL has. The NFL started doing it with Colin Kaepernick. He was kind of led that charge with the NFL, and it kind of shed a lot more light on it because the NFL has specific primetime games that are huge. People watch them. Millions of people watch the NFL games. Now that they've seen it in the NFL, now they're starting to see it in the NBA. People, and they're throwing a fit about it. And they're like, "Well, I don't pay to deal with your uh, what is it, your political beliefs or anything like that," when they never had a problem with it before the NFL started doing it.
Huh. Well, yeah,
Yeah, that is an interesting way to look
that.
at that.
I think it's
I think
rough.
it's rough. I mean, ESPN has been
Struggling
struggling.
right now.
I know
They're planning on letting go or firing over 700 people, like at ESPN. And it's just like that's a lot of people without jobs because they're not making any money right now. ESPN, like I said, they're not getting the viewers. People are not getting into ESPN Plus. They don't have college football on. They don't have all these other college sports. They were running. They almost didn't have NBA or hockey or anything like that because of COVID and
and
any money from that. So
so
I think it's
I think it's rough because I feel like the NBA players have done more this year.
they they have one where
Where
they didn't
they
play
play
games
some games,
and they were. I feel like they were
more outspoken now than they have been in the past, especially with COVID. LeBron
about and, making his comments.
comments
How
how he feels about Tom.
um, everyone can have their own views. I don't think NBA players
Players should have views about
but I think it turned a lot of people away because I feel like it was more in your face this year than it has in the past. Alrighty, well, so to talk
talk about
about
uh, the Major League Baseball playoffs.
uh,
You keep losing the audio on Skype.
yeah, I keep on hearing feedback, a lot of feedback on it. Um,
So
so a lot of the series ended yesterday. So Atlanta sweeps the Marlins 3-0 in the
Called
series.
it.
Did, yep. The Astros beat the Athletics in their series 3-1.
Cheaters.
And then the Yankees beat the Rays, so their series is tied 2-2. Their game is being played right now. They're in the end of the sixth inning, 1-1. So whoever wins the game between the Yankees and Rays will move on and play the Astros. And then the Dodgers sweep the Padres 3-0 in their series as well. And so it'll be Dodgers versus Braves in the next series to determine who's going to go to the World Series for the National League. Now, both the Braves and the Dodgers have been just steamrolling every team that they've played against. The Braves I think they said that they've pitched 4 shutout games so far. So they've had 4 games where they've shut out the other person, didn't allow them to score a single run. Now the Dodgers are known for scoring, so which is going to give way first? The pitching of the Braves or the hitting of the Dodgers?
I don't know. The Braves pitching this year, like in the playoffs, is reminding me back in the '90s of like the days of Tommy Glavine, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz. Like it's going back to the old days of the Braves pitching. Like they're relying on their pitching, not just their hitting. You know, back then they had the hitting. They have the hitting now too. But you know that pitching staff was beast, and I mean the Braves look good. I I think that there's going to be a game where the Dodgers go off and they're going to score like 7-8 runs on the Braves. But I think the Braves are going to actually win this overall. I think it's going to be because this is a 7-game series, right?
It could be.
'Cause if it's a 7-game series, I think the Dodgers take 2. I think it goes to 6, and the Braves win.
Fair enough. No, I think it's about having fans at the game for these now that it's the championship series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they're going to work that out. I think someone had talked about them playing at certain locations that like where COVID is like less. So it won't necessarily be at the Brave Stadium or at the Dodger Stadium. I think they're talking about playing at a neutral location to have fans to be able to come. So that would be pretty interesting to see, once they start having fans, how that'll change the dynamic with pitching and hitting, having fans there making noise. Um, I don't know. The Dodgers have been so dominant, but then they can't get over the hump in the World Series. They've been to a lot of World Series recently. They've been to like at least 3, I think. They just can't get over the hump. I still think that the Dodgers have better hitting. So I think the Dodgers will take the series. But I think it'll go all 7 games. I think it'll go to a game 7. Um, but I think the Dodgers pull it out and use their hitting to their advantage. Um, we got to wait for the Astros to see if they're going to play the Yankees um, or the Rays or Tampa um, for that series for coming up. Um, I mean, if it is the Yankees or the Rays, do you think either one of those teams can take the Astros down now that the Astros have gotten hot? I mean, the Astros got in barely, by 1 game, and now they've just been dominating in the playoffs. Like, do you think the Yankees or the Rays would be able to take them down?
I think either team could take them down as long as the Astros don't cheat.
Right, that's where they got to go to. Whatever works. It's like
Yep.
you know?
You start hearing a garbage can getting hit or a keg getting hit, you know something's wrong.
They figured out some other way to do it. Some other way to communicate. They're like, oh, they're on to us. We got to switch it up.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees probably have a better shot than the Rays do. I know the Rays had a better record, but the Yankees have a lot of firepower at batting. So I think the Yankees would be able to take it if it ends up being them. But we'll see which team is able to make it through for that. Um, so yeah, it's crazy that everything all coming together because the NBA Finals could potentially be over tonight, and then Major League Baseball, hockey has been doing their draft and free agency. A lot of players have been moving around for hockey. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how if they're going to have a short off season because I feel like some of these sports are supposed to be starting up again. So, especially with basketball. Like basketball, I think usually starts about now, doesn't it? Like in October.
I think October is like their preseason type thing. I think the season typically starts like first week of November.
Yeah, so I mean, what is the NBA going to do? Are they just going to have a really short off season and then they're going to start up again? Or, I don't think anybody knows any details of what's going on because they're just trying to focus on, hey, like we're playing playoffs right now. So, we don't need to focus on that other stuff.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, I think that's about it for everything that we needed to cover, other than you having to announce that Earl Thomas isn't on a team.
Yep. Earl Thomas still not signed. Like, what's funny is he's a free safety, and teams are actually looking at calling Eric Weddle, who retired, and asking him to play instead of signing Earl Thomas.
I mean, is he that toxic of a person in the locker room? They're that worried about it?
I guess. I don't know. Like, I know there's that infamous thing where he was being carted off the field with the Seahawks and he was flipping off Pete Carroll, and then he got traded to the Ravens, and like the Ravens say that he's toxic, and he got in a fight practice a couple times. It's like maybe he really is that toxic, and maybe like teams just don't want to sign him.
Yeah, it just seems crazy that I thought for sure that the Cowboys were going to take him because they, like we've pointed out, they are garbage on defense. They are terrible. So like getting him on their team would help so much, and the Cowboys haven't signed him either. So I mean that's saying something that the Cowboys won't even sign him. Um,
And
so
the Texans were in talks to sign him. Like they were actually meeting with him and like there was conversation that they were going to sign him, and then they backed out of it. They're like, yeah, no, not going to do this. There's talks of the Raiders wanting to sign him, but they're talking about going after Eric Weddle instead. I'm like, dude's retired. Like, let him just be.
trying to him to come back, just like, hey, we'll give you this amount of money. I mean, sometimes, hey, it worked for Gronk. I mean, he came out of retirement, so which seems like a mistake because he's done absolutely nothing since he's been back. Um,
He's been a solid run blocker. He has been a good blocker.
yeah,
He just hasn't done anything receiving wise, like because Brady's not throwing him the ball. I mean, would you throw Gronk the ball if you had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, like and OJ Howard? Like, who would you throw the ball to? Gronk's old.
I
Gronk's
mean,
beat up.
true. I mean, OJ Howard's out for the season though. Um,
Oh, yeah, he is. That's right.
and, Godwin got injured; he wasn't playing in the game. Um, Chris Evans was the only one that he
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans was the only one he had to throw to in the Thursday night game. So everyone thought, oh well, this would be a breakout game for Gronk, because Brady doesn't have any of his other weapons, and then he still didn't throw it to him. So, I mean, it just makes no sense to me that he went there specifically to play with Brady, and then now he hasn't been using him at all. So
And it's like Brady doesn't trust him for some reason.
yeah, I mean, which is weird since they played together for so long before. Um, but all right, well, we'll see how this video thing goes. Hopefully, we can post this and get some people to watch it, or do some video editing somehow or something like that. But we appreciate everyone listening, and a lot more comments on Facebook, which was great, and on Instagram. So we got to do a lot of shout outs tonight, which was fun. Um, I like that you're poking your friends, telling them to do it and start participating in that. You start having my friends just walk around with a little prod and just be like, "Go comment," you know. I can do that to my wife Mel only so much, before she gets mad at me. So, um, but we appreciate all the listens and everyone participating. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all anywhere really that does podcasts. You can listen to it. We're gonna try to post this video on YouTube. We're gonna try to post it maybe on the Facebook page, Sports Harder Podcast, Instagram, Sports underscore Harder underscore Podcast, Twitter at Sports Harder P, capital S, capital P. Yeah, I think that's about it with everything. Anything that you want to add in there for it, Chris?
No, I think you got it all.
Good, and then hopefully next week we'll have like some type of game or something to do, since we're doing video. Make it more fun for the people watching for it. We'll have to combine brains here and try to think of something cool. But yeah, until then, we will catch everyone next week for another episode.
Later.
Peace.